Okay. So, friend and I recently watched Unknown Number, which is a Netflix documentary about a girl who was being cyberbullied by her own mother. And I keep seeing reviews and reactions of people saying, how could her own mother do this? How? People are so flabbergasted and confused. I am less so because I have been cyberbullied by my maternal aunt and her husband and her children and thousands of strangers online who they have gotten involved in their cyberbullying antics for 5 years. Uh, Coming from an abusive family, I'm used to having these nasty, ugly things said to me. I block them so they don't get to speak to me privately, which has caused them to publicly go off on me on multiple occasions. And the things they say are upsetting. More so because this is family. So I'm going to go through a couple of the things that just on her community post. This isn't even looking at the videos because I don't actually watch her videos. I will sometimes read through a transcript, but I've been abused by my family to the point that her voice triggers something in me that makes me scared and sick. And I don't put myself through that very often. Also, if you listen to her and you know anything about mental illness, narcissism, personality disorders, you can hear evil in my aunt's voice, in the intonations where she's trying to make it sound cute and fun, but she's almost 70 and she's saying the most vile, disturbing stuff. And in the beginning, she would use her grandchildren as a face of innocence. She would put the camera on them. They're playing and having fun a couple of feet away. And behind the camera, you can hear her voice talking about, you see these children, Mary, you're never going to be as good as these children. You see them, they're so smart and worth something. They're going to be something. You're never going to be anything. You're trash. You're worthless. You're ugly, fucking fat shit. Just on and on and on about how these children are the future and I'm nothing. And it's, I begged her to stop doing that because one day all of this is going to be seen and those kids are going to be seen. And why are you exploiting the babies in such a way when you know that your content is going to be hateful and disgusting and should not include children in any form? It's because that's what abusers do. I saw it my entire childhood. Every time the police would show up, mom grabs a baby. It's ingrained in us. It's like a reaction to generational trauma. And I've tried to say this before, even before I go into this and show some of how fucked up it's been recently. You need to go into this situation understanding that everybody involved has trauma. My aunt's childhood was traumatic. My childhood was traumatic. My sisters, my cousins, my grandmothers, my mothers, all of us. And it's a generational trauma. It started back in my grandmother's day and it has continued through the generations. And that's why my aunt doesn't see any problem with what is happening, because it has been normalized through generations of speaking to each other like this and treating each other like this and simply not having any respect or care for anybody outside of yourself. I'm going to lower my face a bit so we can look at these. Okay, so this one was from a year ago. This is when I first started my YouTube, because I had another YouTube channel, Adrasdia, and I moved over to La Vioterre so that, because I was tired of being attacked, and I thought if I just started a new channel, maybe they would leave me alone. They didn't. So this is her response to my new channel. A new name for the same sack of shit. Attention, 2 for 10 disgusting hoe. You need to learn how to tuck and roll. This was just after her grandchildren's school was shot up, and she decided to tell me to learn to tuck and roll. It would be so informative if Kenneth could have a visitor. Now, wouldn't that be something to write about? Kenneth McBride is a man that I put in prison for murder, and they've been threatening to contact him and give him updated information about me, pictures of me, so that he knows who to look for when he gets out of prison or who to send after from the inside. Big announcement, she's almost 40 and still worthless. This is just before my birthday. Mary, there are other planets you can live on. It was just a suggestion, seeing how miserable you are on Earth. Please consider the move. A change would do you good. We were only thinking of your mental health. You think you're so clever. Here is my thought. Your lack of money is 100% due to you being a lazy, grifting, worthless liar who prefers living in her own filth, only because you're too lazy to clean your own mess. If you had to build your own nest, you would cease to exist due to exhaustion from avoiding the work. Keep flapping. Wear yourself into more fake crying, and keep in mind only one of us is having a temper tantrum. Here's a little wisdom for you. If you keep distorting your face like that, it will freeze that way. Never mind, it already has. Nearly 70 years old. She thinks she's cute. Chicken Little, turn your comments on. She was really mad at me a couple of months ago, and I turned the comments on my channel off because I was getting so much hate from her supporters while she was targeting my brother's grave. That's what this next set is going to be about, because 4 months ago was close to my brother's birthday, and she decided to visit his grave with a bottle of apple juice for a second time because Adonis Paul had a fundraiser a couple of years ago where he raised $1,500 to urinate on my brother's grave. My aunt visited the grave with apple juice and made a video called Standing In for a Friend, made it clear she was there for Adonis Paul, set the apple juice down next to my brother's gravestone, and laughed and mocked me for it. And now she regularly visits my brother's grave and takes apple juice and laughs at me for being upset by it as if it doesn't mean anything. My brother was handicapped by my father's abuse. He never really had a life, and now my aunt has been targeting his grave. She says, maybe I should share where the cemetery is located. Just tell me what you think of that ideal. Just in case anyone wants to pay their respects. Why not? You said you're coming here to my house to desecrate the memory of Garden of Angela. How do you like me now? I didn't say I was going to desecrate the memory statue. Her son was messaging me, telling me that they were going to my brother's grave and how it was perfectly legal because they were family and they could do whatever they wanted. So I responded, so that means that I can go to your sister's grave and do whatever I want. She didn't like that. I never threatened to desecrate anything. She's the one that keeps going to my brother's grave and taking apple juice. And on this last trip, she also took a voodoo doll that she made of me, that she tormented the entire trip. This is a double. It says, I see you. Your face looks a little red. You know the old saying, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Brush your teeth if you're going to record so close to your face. They will never get this apple juice. We've crossed the state line. Bubba, I coming. I got your sister doll and chilled juice. Bubba is what we called my brother. Whoops. Now I'm really laughing. ROTC, really, Mary. Did the short bus take you there? I was in NJROTC in high school, and she's mocking the very concept. She often mocks anything that I've actually achieved. We made it back to the camper after safely getting the apple juice to its proper home. Mary, hold your breath until I show the video. Please, begin holding. This is the voodoo doll that she made of me. She has buried it. Mary, I don't remember if you ever learned how to swim. Then I remembered that shit floats. This was completely unprovoked. I think that's all of them that I downloaded, that I took a screenshot of. But it's... when people ask how family can treat each other this way, this has been my entire life. It just used to be behind closed doors. What's weird to me is that they are still, like, sure enough that what they're doing is okay, that they're putting it on a public platform. She doesn't need to discreetly email or private message me because she has been validated by the thousands of people supporting her to think that this is okay. I've been a targeted individual for 5 years because I made my aunt mad at me when I was homeless by writing a book about my life. I didn't even put any names in it because I knew it was going to piss my family off. And it did. And it's resulted in 5 years of this absolute garbage. They've spent thousands of dollars on the court transcripts and tried to make it look like I committed a murder that I got away with. And they've fully convinced some people that I have. There are people waiting for me to be tried for a crime that I had no part in, because they've misrepresented these court transcripts so terribly in a way to defame me. It's frustrating. It's been 5 years of waking up every single day knowing that I'm going to be attacked. I'm going to have somebody, possibly somebody in my family, say something disgusting to me. My aunt has straight up threatened to kill me multiple times. I don't know what video it is, but she made one where she tells people that she's learned how to clean blood out of hardwood flooring, so if anybody was to bring me for a visit, she's prepared. She talks for a while about my mental health and how if I really need so much help, because I'm in treatment, I'm in therapy, and I'm on medication, and she says if I really need so much help, she will have the courts bring me to Georgia and force me into a mental institution near her where she would pay the guards to beat me so that I would stop pretending to be crazy. That was her plan. She said after a couple of months of my being under control, you'd stop being crazy and get a job. That's really what they think. That's truly what they think. I would just stop having PTSD if I was treated badly enough. It logically makes no sense, but they're not logical people. Abusers are not logical people, I'm telling you. I've been telling people for years. She also threatened, when her children, or she uses her children to threaten me. She said that they were in town for something, and if I heard motorcycles, that I had better run, because if her children saw me in the street, they would run me down and keep going, was her threat to me. She said I had better just stay inside all week because her children would run me down in the streets and laugh. They probably would too. They've been told their whole lives that they're supposed to hate me. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. When they read my grandmother's will 5 years after she died, I got a message from my sister saying they were reading her will. They never gave me any actual information for it. Like, they didn't tell me where to go. They didn't tell me when to go. They gave me a date and a time. Like 9:30 a.m., May 13th, be there. Beware. Figure it out. And she said, I said, how do I figure it out? She said, contact a lawyer. And I said, well, who's your lawyer? What lawyer do I contact? And the response was, lawyers are private. So there was absolutely no way I was ever going to get to that will reading. And she told me that if I somehow did make it, I would be in danger because the family would hurt me if I showed up to that will reading. It's the last thing my little sister ever said to me. Last thing my older sister ever said to me was that I was a crazy bitch. So, yeah, I fully get how that situation, the cyberbullying unknown number situation, happened and how it's family, because it's been happening to me. It's just not an unknown situation because they don't care about being unknown. They're proud of their hatred. My aunt actually thinks it's a symbol of her Southern heritage. It's sad.